Good morning. President Park Geun-hye dismisses concerns that Korea is sandwiched between two superpowers on matters of foreign and economic policies. A public area in downtown Dresden, known officially as the Korean Plaza, is a 1,700 square meter site serving to symbolize the Korea-Germany friendship. Bukhansan is a majestic mountain on the border of the capital of Gyeonggi-do province. The perfect place for a day trip. Joey Albright takes you there. And the spring greens, or bom-namul of Korea, are in season and ready to jump on the plate. On Korea Today, Wednesday, April 1st, 2015.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And a good Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today. I'm Kim Myung alongside Jin-ju and Kim Min-jung. The top news for this morning is that Jin-ju and Kim Min-jung have gotten into a major fight and they're not going to be speaking on the show.
That's not even funny.
Well, it's April Fool's Day, basically, where a lot of people play these little pranks, and I played the dumbest one ever, I think.
Right, but having a little sense of humor and having fun on this day is really harmless. But if your idea of fun involves making prank calls to the police or the fire department, you might want to consider this.
Right, because the National Police Agency says that those who make prank calls to the police might face up to 5 years in prison and up to $9,000 in fines. So playing off a joke on the police won't last as a
right.
joke.
You do the math, right? Does having fun outweigh the consequences?
Right.
Probably not.
Definitely. And the resources that are needed for the 112 or the emergency services is very, very important. So kids, if you're going to play those jokes, play them on your parents, but not too harsh, right? All right, now we're going to jump to our top headline for this morning. President Park Geun-hye dismissed concerns that Korea's decisions on matters of foreign and economic policies could jeopardize relations with the world's two superpowers. Speaking with her staff and special advisors during a luncheon at the presidential office of Cheongwade, President Park said Seoul should not be overly concerned over diplomatic policy decisions regarding the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank and the possible deployment of the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense Missile Battery. The president stressed that Seoul has the right to make decisions comprehensively based on information from its sources, adding that principle and consistency should stand on as the basis. The president's remarks come following Korea's application to join the China-led AIIB despite U.S. opposition and critics linking the possible deployment of the THAAD missile battery with Seoul's decision to join the multinational bank.
The Korean government has slammed Japan's move to put some of its wartime facilities onto UNESCO's World Heritage List. During a regular press briefing on Tuesday, Seoul's foreign ministry spokesman said the move to list the controversial industrial sites, including a coal mine, goes against the spirit of the coveted list.
To list these facilities, with their painful history of forced labor for Koreans under Japan's colonial rule, as a World Heritage Site does not correspond with the discipline and purpose of UNESCO.
The spokesman said the government plans to bring up the issue at the upcoming session of the 21-member World Heritage Committee and discuss with other member nations about Japan's ambitions. Tokyo has been pushing to list 28 sites located mainly in Kyushu, 11 of which are places where hundreds of Korean laborers died of harsh conditions under Japan's occupation. The final decision will be made at the World Heritage Committee meeting in Germany in July.
The Bank of Korea's portion of U.S. dollars in its foreign exchange reserves has hit a 4-year high on expectations of a strengthening greenback, according to a report released on Tuesday. The central bank's annual policy report showed U.S. dollar holdings were up 4.2 percentage points to 62.5% for 2014 from an expansion on forecasts that the greenback will strengthen along with favorable economic recovery. The results from last year marks a recovery to the 60% range after backtracking to the 50% range in 2012 and 2013. The reading has mostly remained at the 60 percentile range since the central bank began disclosing data on its foreign currency reserves in 2007.
The German city of Dresden is where South Korean President Bukhansan made her Dresden Declaration about a year ago, laying out her administration's policy direction towards a peaceful reunification with North Korea. And a special park there has recently been named Korean Plaza, reflecting strong diplomatic ties between Seoul and Berlin, which dates back more than 130 years, and hopes for a unified Korea learning from the experience of Germany. Arirang News' Kwon Soo-ah sat down with the deputy head of mission of the German embassy in Seoul to talk about the significance of this new naming.
A park named after South Korea in a German city. Who would have thought? A year after President Park Geun-hye's visit to Germany, where she delivered her so-called Dresden Declaration, revealing plans for a reunification of the two Koreas, a public space in downtown Dresden has been officially named Korean Plaza.
The Korean Plaza is really a very good sign, a very nice indication of the excellent relationship between Germany and Korea. President Park, as you all are aware of, has visited Dresden last year in spring, and she left a big impact. And as a follow-up basically to the visit of President Park, there has been a momentum which led to the naming of in a very nice place in Dresden after Korea, which I think this is very welcome.
The roughly 1,700 square meter site also serves as a symbol of the friendship between Korea and Germany and keeps alive the hope that Korea, like Germany, will one day be reunified.
So other than contributing to this project, the Korean Plaza, in what other ways has President Park's declaration impacted the city?
You know, Germany now is celebrating 25 years of unification. And obviously, the declaration of President Park found a lot of sympathy amongst Germans, particularly in a city like Dresden. Dresden is the place where basically the so-called Monday demonstrations started before unification of Germany. They still remember the process of unification, and Germany shares the history of a divided country with Korea. And certainly sympathy for the future of a Korean unification has been emphasized by the declaration, and the sympathy in the German population certainly is much on the side of South Korea to have a successful unification in the near future.
So how about the other way around? What do you think of having a symbol of Dresden or Berlin or another German city on Korean soil?
Obviously, we would very much welcome another symbol on Korean soil, but I see here in Seoul particularly, but not only in Seoul, also in other parts of the country, I see a lot of German symbols. For example, you have here a piece of the Berlin Wall in Seoul, which is a gift from the city of Berlin. There is the German village in Namhae, which I have personally visited, which is a very nice place. And walking around in Seoul, you see a lot of places which carry German names. So I think there is a lot, but obviously we would be very happy to see a plaza or a place named after a German city. But I think the Korean place in Dresden is a very nice sign of the excellent relationship between our two countries.
The opening of Korean Plaza is not only expected to raise the German people's awareness of Korea, but to reap economic benefits too, by attracting more Korean tourists to Dresden and fostering more trade. Germany is already Korea's third biggest Western trading partner. The deputy ambassador says to mark not only Germany's 25 years as a unified nation, but also the 70th anniversary of Korea's liberation, visitors from Saxony, the federal state Dresden is the capital of, like the economy minister and other high-ranking people, are scheduled to visit Korea this year to further improve the German-Korean friendship.
Good morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspapers. Now, President Park Geun-hye yesterday renewed calls for the reform of the civil servants' pension scheme so that it would ease the burden of the government and the people. Today we'll begin with this story here on 조선일보, and it's the piece here in the center. It says daily $7.2 million deficit. Public servants' pension reform must happen fast. Now, the case for the pension reform for government officials has gained urgency, especially as increasing average life expectancy for Koreans is likely to further aggravate the pension deficit. The president warned in a cabinet meeting yesterday that by next year, the government will be forced to use some $9 million of taxpayers' money every day in order to fund civil servants' pensions unless the controversial scheme is reformed by the deadline this May. She further emphasized that although reform is difficult, it is the mission of our time to make it happen, as the future of the country depends on it. And now we'll go to a front page image here on 중앙일보, and the title says, Dry Soyanggang River, worst drought in 42 years. So these two photos were taken by Arirang 2 and 3, which are Korean multi-purpose satellites of the Soyanggang River basin. And the top one was taken just in March this year, while the bottom in April of 2012. As you can see, the river has pretty much completely dried out, signifying the worst drought in 42 years' time since the Soyanggang River Dam was built. And coming back to local politics, we'll take a look at this headline here on 동아일보. And this header reads, Labor, Management, and Government failed to meet deadline on achieving compromise. Now, yesterday was the deadline set by the tripartite committee composed of representatives from labor, management, and government to come up with a deal on overhauling a set of labor issues. However, if we go ahead and look at these sub-headlines, although the three sides held marathon negotiations late into the night, they were unable to finalize a draft agreement. Still on the table was how to best reduce the disparity between regular and temporary workers in terms of their wages and working conditions. Now, the tripartite committee agreed to continue with discussions with the aim to achieve a compromise, a deal by today. And wrapping with a look at some business news here on the Korea Economic Daily for this side headline. And this one is regarding Samsung and LG. And this reads, Samsung and LG agreed to reconcile and end the washing machine war. The two local tech giants, Samsung Electronics and LG Electronics, announced on Tuesday that they have agreed to halt ongoing legal disputes, putting an end to a years-long court battle over alleged technology theft and vandalism. Now, the two conglomerates have been embroiled in 5 lawsuits involving 3 disputes, including the so-called washing machine war or washer row, in which Samsung claimed that staff members from LG intentionally wrecked its washers at Germany-based electronics shops last year. Now, LG had refuted Samsung's accusations and countersued its bigger rival for defamation and forging evidence. Finally, the two companies yesterday said all their legal cases will be terminated unconditionally. Now, that was a look at our local headlines this Wednesday, and following are the stock numbers from Tuesday.
Let's now get a check on the weather. You might want to bring an umbrella with you on your way out, though the rain is expected to come to a lull in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was raining quite heavily at some points overnight, and for today's weather, we'll go to Chun Song-cho and see also get a check on the air conditions for the day. Song-cho, good morning.
Good morning, Song-cho.
Good morning, guys. Yes, it's the type of drizzle that makes you wonder if you should carry an umbrella or not. There are still some areas in the central regions receiving this type of fine, light drizzles up until now, but most of it will subside in the next couple of hours. The problem is dense, patchy fog across the west and the south coastal regions, reducing visibility for drivers up to 100 meters in some places. The roads are still wet here in Seoul as well, so drivers should be extra careful when driving this morning. But overall, the overnight showers did a lot of good, especially to our air conditions. Dry weather advisories and warnings have finally been lifted, and particulate matter concentration has also gone down to its regular level all across the country. While it's still not going to be enough to completely eliminate the drought problems we've been dealing with this season, another round of nationwide rain is in the forecast starting tomorrow afternoon, so for the time being, you better have your umbrella handy. Currently, it's about 12 degrees Celsius here in Seoul. It's a nice and comfortable start to the day. With that, let's take a closer look at today's temperature readings around the nation. Mercury levels will hover around the upper teens in the afternoon in most cities. Seoul will peak at 18, while Gwangju tops out at 20 degrees Celsius. This trend of warmer than average temperatures is set to continue up until the showers end on Friday. This is all for me with the weather forecast. Back to Minjang in the studio.
And time now to get a check on the global headlines we're keeping an eye on at this hour. We'll connect with our Eunice Kim, who's standing by at the news center. Good morning, Eunice.
Good morning.
Let's begin with the fight against the Islamic State. The Iraqi government is now declaring victory in the city of Tikrit, which is the hometown of Saddam Hussein. And this marks the first significant victory against IS forces in Iraq.
That's right, significant indeed. It was an IS stronghold that held both the symbolic and strategic importance for Iraqi forces too, as having control of Tikrit, you'll remember, would clear the way to another IS-held key city, Mosul, to the east. It was quite the struggle, a long month-long battle, but just a few hours ago, the official Twitter account of Iraq's Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi declared Tikrit liberated from the grip of the Islamic State group. It also congratulated Iraqi security forces and, quote, popular volunteers, referring to the Iran-backed Shiite militia there, on the historic milestone. Now, earlier, Abadi's spokesman had said forces raised the Iraqi flag at Tikrit's center and was in the process of clearing out the city. Once home to some 200,000 people, most of Tikrit was already emptied out by civilians ahead of this military operation. A spokesperson for the U.S.-led coalition, though, cautioned that there was still work to be done as parts of the city remained under IS control. And with just hours to go to their self-imposed deadline, the P5+1 nations, Germany and Iran, have agreed to continue talking into Wednesday. Iran's senior negotiator said he was willing to talk until all unresolved issues are resolved.
Sanction relief issue has been resolved, not today or yesterday. We have had long discussions on this, but there are issues which are related to sanctions, which are still under consideration.
The White House also said that Washington was willing to continue the momentum until all sides arrive at a workable preliminary political agreement that will be used as a basis for a comprehensive nuclear deal in 3 months' time. Representatives from the UN Security Council countries, Germany, and Iran have been locked in talks for nearly a week now to end a 12-year standoff between the West and Iran over its nuclear ambitions.
All right, moving on to Nigeria next. The country is marking a political first. The opposition candidate is elected to be Nigeria's next president.
That is right. He is a former military ruler. Muhammadu Buhari is his name. He beat out incumbent Goodluck Jonathan, who has been Nigeria's president since 2010. It is being called the most competitive presidential race Nigeria has seen to date, and that was was reflected in the response of the people, whether it was jubilation or disappointment, depending on who they were supporting. Now, Buhari's camp said Jonathan had sent his congratulations via phone, conceding defeat. At that point, the 72-year-old, who had also before sought the top job 3 times, had enjoyed a significant lead of more than 2 million votes. Many voters said that they believe the former general was just simply better qualified to defeat Boko Haram, Minjung.
Many people are keeping their eyes on this story as Nigeria is the most populous country in the African continent. We'll have to leave it at that, though. Thank you, Eunice.
You bet.
Still ahead on Korea Today, one of Korea's most illustrious mountains, Bukhansan. Because of its location, city dwellers flock to the mountain and its 3 peaks that tower gracefully over the city. We'll take you on a day trip to our 15th national park at Bukhansan, so stay tuned.
Many people have begun to head outdoors to enjoy spring, but if you're looking to explore a new spring flower experience, our Lee Min-hee has some options for you. We'll talk about that. Good morning.
Good morning. So sometimes nothing beats just stepping outdoors, taking in some fresh air and some beautiful spring flowers, but on a gloomy day like today, why not do that indoors? So today I have a few artists who are really giving Mother Nature a run for her money. They're part of a couple of exhibitions that have caught the spring fever. Have a look.
Petals unfurl. A flower opens up into full bloom. Spring is in the air, but it's also in the halls of the Pakyosuk Gallery. Yes, they're made out of plastic or vinyl, but these flowers are just as beautiful as those found in the great outdoors. The exhibition Flower Power features the work of 9 different artists, each with their own take on the beautiful and the bizarre blossoms found in nature. Although it's just paint on a canvas, these flower paintings are nothing short of extraordinary.
Through the medium of flowers, although it's something everyone is familiar with, people can receive inspiration and even strength.
British artist Mustafa Halusi encourages viewers to see flowers in a new way. His work juxtaposes geometric patterns alongside blooms and fruit.
The reason why I have figurative and abstract in the same painting is a way of describing reality in the 2 different forms of representation, both describing how the world is and how we perceive it.
Whether it's under blue skies or in the halls of this gallery, spring is in the air.
Yeah, those abstract realist pieces by Mustafa Halusi, those are very interesting. Now, tell us a little bit more about him.
Right, well, first of all, Young, have you ever just kind of stopped dead in your tracks because the flower is just so beautiful, just stunning and breathtaking?
Well, to be honest, no, but I can see how it can stop a few on their tracks.
Well, you'll have an opportunity soon this spring with some cherry blossoms on the way, but this British artist, Halusi, he wanted to have the same effect with his work, so he wanted to just sort of stop people in their tracks as they're looking at some of his art pieces. So he creates these geometric patterns, these sort of optical illusions next to these beautiful flowers, but most stunningly, they kind of look like photographs, right? Those are actually paintings of flowers and fruit, and so some beautiful work there.
That's where the realist part comes in, right? Okay, now the first exhibition, let's go back to it. Now, we saw work by several different artists at that exhibition.
Right, so they are featuring quite a few artists there, both from Korea as well as abroad, but one artist to really pay attention is Choi Jung-hwa. Now, he is known for sort of recycling material and using things that you wouldn't really expect in artwork, but you saw in the report sort of the blow-up flower, but also that flower globe, so he is responsible for those. And he said when it comes to these kind of like plastic flower works, he likes the idea of the immortality of them, so something that'll stick around, not just season, but a couple seasons after.
Well, it basically goes to show that you really don't need much for inspiration. I mean, just simple flowers from nature, they can provide the best of them all, right? Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And still to come on Korea Today, the spring greens or bom-namul of Korea are fresh and ripe for the picking. Full of minerals and vitamins, they're a tasty treat for the body, so we've prepared wild rocambol, chives, and cabbage today. Dallae-Buchu salad and Bomdong sandwich coming up.
as we mentioned at the top of the hour, today is April Fool's Day, and many businesses and organizations in Korea that have a sense of humor are holding special April Fool's events today.
That's right. They vary from discounts on goods and services to charity fundraisers, and our Sami Surang joins us to tell us more. Good morning, Ms.
Good morning,
Good morning. Happy April Fools. So dozens and dozens of businesses are taking part today. Some offline, some online, but here are two that you can enjoy nationwide. So the first one is from fast food chain Lotteria. You can get a free burger just by talking. All you have to do is repeat one of the 3 catchphrases that appeared in their recent burger commercial, and you get a free burger.
Really?
Then at cinema chain CGV, you can get a discount on your movie ticket depending on what you wear. If you turn up in any school uniform, you'll be given a youth discount. And if you turn up in military uniform, you'll be given a military discount. So this applies to everyone. You don't have to be an actual student or a serviceman.
Really? Do we have to actually mimic the intonation of Cha Seung-won, who is on the
No,
scene?
you just have to say the words, and then so basically it's one of 3, and you ask a question, and then the person at the counter will reply something.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty simple.
Interesting ideas. It's really tough to come up with this smart joke. You know, I was discussing it with Young. You don't want to be politically incorrect, but you know,
Right.
you want to tell a funny joke. But I guess something like that is harmless, and you know, gets you a free burger.
Exactly, and for the uniform as well, I mean, it returns your childhood-like spirit. But the catch with this one is that if you get the youth discount, you're considered a youth for that time. So it means that you can't watch R-rated movies.
Oh,
the ones restricted for 18 and under. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, speaking of special events, a soldier held a special surprise event for his girlfriend. Let's have a look. Now, on the day of him finishing his military service, this young man and his girlfriend planned to meet up in Sinchon. As you know, it's a long-awaited day for the couple who've only been able to see each other for short periods here and there during the past 2 years. On the day in Sinchon, there's a person in a costume holding a sign that says, "I'm looking for the owner of these shoes." And like in Cinderella, different people try it out, but they're not the right person. But when this lady steps up, the monitor turns on a video message from her boyfriend. Let's have a listen.
이 말은 평소에도 잘 안 했었던 말인데 사랑해.
And it turns out the person inside the costume was her boyfriend. Gives her a salute, says thank you for waiting for me, gives her his present, which are these handmade flower shoes or gotsi.
Oh,
very sweet, huh?
Very sweet and touching. I feel a little. I can feel my eyes. I don't know. It's weird,
I'm curious who actually filmed this thing.
His friend. His friend. So there was him, and then the person holding the sign, and then there was another friend with the camera. So he rallied his friends to do it.
We usually say that those who have boyfriends or husbands in the military, they wear gomushin or rubber shoes.
Right. So it's symbolic. He's trading her gomushin for gotsin. Very meaningful. Now, wrapping up with some interesting results about cosmetics, the Korea Food and Drug Administration surveyed some 2,000 Koreans nationwide between the ages of 15 and 59 and asked them about how many beauty products they used each month. And this is their results. So on average, for men, they used 13 different products at least once a month. And it includes basic things: conditioner, body wash, hand cream, toner. But for us, 27.
Wow.
What? But I mean, it sounds like a lot, but when you look at it, we need it all, right? I mean, eyeshadow, perfume,
because
facial mask, we need
shampoos and hair conditioners.
Exactly, and hair packs, mascara, they're all important, right?
Maybe.
But men, they use more than I thought.
Yeah, they do. But it includes things like shaving foam, and they do use...
And the sunblock, too.
Exactly. With the sunblocks, men used it around 60% of the time, apparently. Women, on the other, we used around 80 to 90%. So by age, those in their 20s use the most amount of products. I think we used around 30. Those in their teens use the less, around 24 products every month. And the Food and Drug Administration, they're going to use this information in future cosmetics health safety assessments.
Interesting. If you have a crazy morning schedule like we do in the morning, we just slap on one moisturizer.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Exactly. Just cleanse and moisturize and then go.
Right. All right. Thank you, Misorang, for that.
You're welcome.
And a good Wednesday morning to you all as we kick things off with the 56th ranked Korean national football team who went up against the 134th ranked New Zealand squad at the Seoul World Cup Stadium last night. And a rather slow match with the rain coming down a bit throughout the night. But in the 37th minute, a penalty is called on the New Zealand goalkeeper and a spot kick for Son Heung-min. But that chance is wasted as Marinovic goes to the right for the save, and it's 0-0. A minute later, Marinovic with another super save keeps the score at 0-0 as Chaduri subbed down in the 42nd minute of the match. In the second half of the match remains scoreless until Uli Stilike's latest pick. Jeonbuk's Lee Jae-sung pokes one past the goalkeeper here, and that's the game winner as Korea beats New Zealand 1-0, your final score. Now, many would agree the biggest highlight of the match last night was the retirement ceremony for Chaduri, who played his final match with the national team last night. And during the halftime, the fans and the players celebrated the defender's career with gifts and awards for his contribution to the game as a national team player. Now playing in 76 A matches, the Chaminator made his national team debut back in 2001 against Senegal, and he was known as one of the most entertaining footballers in the nation. The fans holding up signs that read, #ThankYou Chaduri, the emotional Chaduri, closed the retirement ceremony with a memorable speech to the fans. And now moving over to the 2014-2015 KBL Championship Series between the defending champions Ulsan Mobis Phoebus and the Wonju Dongbu Promi, as Mobis went into Game 2 leading the series 1-0. But in Game 2, Dongbu off to a great start as they take a slim 22-20 lead in the first quarter before going into halftime with a 43-35 lead. But the second half of the game, Mobis showing why they're the defending champions as they combine both offense and defense in the third quarter to outscore Dongbu 24-9 to take a 59-52 lead going into the fourth quarter. And despite Dongbu trying to bounce back late in the game, Moon Tae-young's 30 points too much for Dongbu as Mobis takes a 2-0 series lead with an 83-65 victory. And now over to Game 3 of the Women's V-League Championship with the IBK Altos one win away from winning the championship trophy against Korea Expressway. And just like the first two games of the championship series, IBK continues to spread the offense around the same three attackers in Destiny Hooker, Park Jung-ah, and Kim Hee-jin. And with the three scoring in double digits in all three games, Nicole Fawcett and Korea Expressway have absolutely no chance as IBK takes this in 3 sets to claim their first title since the 2012-2013 season. Well, congratulations to the IBK Altos for their championship victory, and that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Now, 'tis the season for bom-namul, the edible greens that are in season for spring.
They're healthy and full of flavor. I love the scent of bom-namul. Very aromatic. And that's no April Fool's Day joke. And Jean-Paul Perez joins us to make some of this bom-namul salad, which I don't like very much. But Jean-Paul, you're going to make me like it, right?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. So today we're going to do some green edible vegetables. So namul, they are some of my favorite actually in Korea. A lot of diversity. And what we're going to have today is the Dallae, which you can find in everywhere in Korea. It grows in a mountain and a plain very easily. So I'm going to start directly. So the Dallae, you just have to pick it up and wash it directly. It's very, very easy. You take some that already have not a big one and not too many roots, basically. And this has the same flavor as between onion and garlic, actually. So let's put some in a bowl. You're going to see, it's quite easy. You can eat like this, but today we're going to mix it with some soy sauce, and a little bit of vinegar, and as well some syrup, rice syrup. Okay, so we have some chopped onion. So it's full of allicin, which give this spicy flavor, like you'll find in garlic. It's very good for your to give you a boost of energy and everything. So it's really, really nice and very fresh.
A lot of the spring greens, they contain a lot of vitamins and minerals. And
yes,
these are very good for you.
Yeah, yes, it is. It is. So we got the yampa and we got Arirang, which is a kind of orange mandarin that come from Jeju Island.
Halabong. Right.
Yes. So we already cut a little bit.
I think they are sweeter than other oranges.
Yeah, they don't have that sour type of flavor that usually comes with tangerines and oranges, but just the sweetness, the fact is.
And you don't have seed as well too much inside, so it's very practical when you're eating. It's very, very nice. So this is done.
Very easy to peel as well.
Yes, very, very easy. We have a little bit of the soy sauce. We add vinegar. After this is up to you. If you want it quite sour, you can just put a little bit more vinegar. And this is the syrup.
Ooh.
It needs to be kind of like sweet and sour sauce. It's very, very classic to have this sweet and sour flavor. You could put a little bit of gochugaru inside as well to just give a nice spiciness. And as well, we have some the chives that bring a lot of potassium. They're already cut.
The buchu in Korean.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm usually used to seeing that in the pancake form or in the buchu-jeon,
Right.
So I'm not used to having it just raw like that in a salad form. But
actually, I use a lot at home just in salad, just alone. Always with crushed garlic, gochugaru, and soy sauce. So we're going to drizzle nicely. Okay.
Yeah, so are we going to have any meat in this anytime soon?
No, yeah.
No, we're going
Give it up.
I need some protein in my diet.
We're going to make a Bomdong sandwich later on.
Okay.
And we will be using some chicken for you for the protein.
All right.
That looks really fresh. Look at that.
And actually, I brought some extra nice.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, I love that.
Yes, it's other namul. As I say, I really like this.
Nengi? Nengi namul?
Yes, this spring season is very, very good for all the kind of namul you can find. So, okay.
Because Dallae and Nengi do have a bit of a bitter and a spicy taste almost.
But
I don't know how that will combined with the halabong and the sweet sauce, how that will...
I mean, it will balance because if you have like a little bit of bitterness from the leaf, you have as well the grain syrup and the rice syrup into it. So it will bring all together sweetness, spiciness, bitterness. So it's a kind of like a nice balance to flavor.
I think it's really important how you present it because Jean-Paul, when he puts it into the plate, and he just makes it look really nice. And
I've noticed that he twists it just the little ones.
Like spaghetti.
So that might be a tip for our
It just
viewers.
looks more presentable.
Twist your salad like spaghetti.
If you're using Dallae.
If you're using Nengi on the side too.
So normally you can chop in a little, very small piece, but I don't really like to chop that small. I like to eat it a bit, as you say, like spaghetti.
Okay.
Though that's why I don't like. I hardly cut in small piece, and I keep my orange Arirang in like quite a big shape.
All right, let's move on to the sandwich because I think Young over here is getting a little antsy. He needs his bread and his meat.
You can boil the chicken, but I don't really enjoy boiling chicken. So what I do is basically pan fry it.
Pan fry it?
Yes. And then after you just shred it.
With a bit of salt and pepper, maybe?
Always. Always. It's very important. The salt, always using, for this kind of sandwich, always use sea salt. I have a little bit of pechu. This is normal pechu, yam pechu. And what I have after, okay, this one. And this is Bomdong. This is the spring cabbage, full of beta-carotene and vitamin. It's very nice. You choose a nice leaf, not too big, and we're just going to chop it very quick.
Oh, you're gonna chop that?
Yes, because it's going to the sandwich. You don't want to have like large leaf.
So do you use a lot of the stems as well?
I use everything.
Oh.
I don't waste much of the, especially these green vegetables. I don't waste anything to eat. So this is done. It feels strange to, normally you're supposed to walk next to me, prepare the salad for me or the sauce, but today.
I know, it's all on you.
Today.
So normally this sandwich, a lot of people just put mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise.
But it's not good for you.
Oh, it's always good. I mean, you know, French people.
It's yummy on the mouth, but not so good on the, I suppose.
Heard mayo actually has a lot of
body.
calories.
Fresh mayonnaise is good, so it's fine. What I do is I put lemon juice just to give a bit of zest to it, and then after, gochujang, because I don't want to have just mayonnaise.
Oh,
now this is
fusion. This is new.
Fusion.
So I just put
a spicy sandwich. Who would have thought of that? Wow.
It's not really spicy. Just we often mix mayonnaise and ketchup at home.
Yeah, that's true. You kind of make a Thousand Island type of dressing.
Exactly.
Right?
So this is a gochujang island.
It's the Korean peninsula dressing.
That's a good one. The color is almost the same too.
Yes.
Throw that in my hamburger next time.
That would be nice. With especially with shrimp or seafood burger.
I am just really intrigued with this mix, and I want to try it out.
Okay, it's going to be ready in 2 minutes. Okay, that's fine. We try to do not be messy today because we often are too messy.
Yeah, I'm usually the one causing the mess over there.
Yes.
So take a baguette and cut it in half.
Yes, actually I take a baguette because white bread is not. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that much of white bread. It's not that healthy actually for you. But today I just take a natural yeast proof baguette, so it's very nice. It's much better. And we're going to put tomato.
Okay.
Okay, so you're laying the tomatoes out there. It's almost like a submarine sandwich, the way it's being built or made. So I have a question about the baguette. Sometimes baguettes, the crust is just a little bit too hard for me when I make sandwiches with it, right?
Man over there.
How do I choose?
I can't discuss this subject with you.
I
can't discuss this subject.
It looks like a prank actually from you. The sandwich need to be, the baguette need to be nice and crunchy.
Okay.
It's very important.
Okay, I see. So you have to make the baguette right. That's what he's trying to say.
So as we say, you have the protein with the. We have the protein with the chicken for you, and we got a lot of fresh greens, vegetables.
That looks so good, so healthy.
So we can say, even if there is mayonnaise, you can say it's very healthy.
You know how to make this at home, maybe lay a couple of avocados on top of it too.
Ooh, there's a new recipe.
Why not? That will be very good.
Can we discuss avocados?
Yes, we can. Okay.
Perfect.
And you can try.
All right. Well, we'll just have to pass on the trying parts.
We're gonna have to wait till the show, till the end of the program to try some of that. I am looking forward to it, Jean-Paul. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks a lot.
And that's it.
It's beautiful.
Bon appetit.
Well, if you want to go hiking or if you want to see the scenic mountains, then you don't have to go very far because right here in central Seoul, on the border with the Gyeonggi-do province, there is the Bukhansan mountain. And Joey Albright took a trip there and he's going to tell us all about that. Good morning, Joey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you run a marathon and now you're going up mountains.
Wow.
I swear, Korea Day loves to make me work out. Loves to make me work out.
This is a healthy show.
For sure, for sure. Well, I'm glad because I feel a lot better after doing that hike. And in order to celebrate spring, I made a trip to one of Korea's top 5 beautiful mountains, and also not only that, it has the most visitors, and of course I'm talking about Bukhansan National Park. I got to see a lot of beautiful scenery, and it was very nice. The air was clear and fresh. It was a beautiful day to go hiking. So let's take a look. Yes, spring is no longer just knocking at our door. It's here, and it's starting to show off its true colors on the mountains. Today I've come to SEOUL Station in order to take the Bukhansan Daedongmun course. Right now I'm about to go catch the village bus, so let's go take a look. Even in the early morning on a weekend, the bus was full of hikers. 산 중에서 북한산 제일 최고예요.
코스가 원체 다양한데 여러 가지 면을 볼 수가 있어요. 경치가 좋아요.
From SEOUL Station, it's only about a 20-minute bus ride to get to the trails at Bukhansan Mountain, and because it's so close, it's popular among city dwellers. You can definitely tell it's the start of spring.
Now I have that sweatshirt. I have a feeling you're going to get very warm.
For sure. 어디 가시는 거예요?
대동문이요.
아, 대동문.
So you need
Bukhansan is a beautiful mountain. I love it. There are no other mountains like this one.
They're not the Nordic poles, right?
I don't know.
Along with the Dongbongsan, Bukhansan was designated as the 15th national park in 1983. In a year, it gets over 5 million visitors and is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the national park with the highest number of visitors per square foot. Bukhansan lies on the boundaries of Seoul's 5 districts and Gyeonggi-do province. It's a hiker's favorite with 13 courses divided by duration and level of difficulty.
Did you pick one of the difficult courses?
No, I tried to pick the easier one. But it's great for family hikes, and it's relatively easy to hike.
The course is neither too high nor steep. It's good to hike with children.
Whichever trails you hike at Bukhansan, you're bound to walk by a Buddhist temple or two because there are over 100 on this mountain. This temple, Baeknyeonsang, was built in 1930, and everyone's welcome to stop here, take a rest, quench your thirst, and even get a free meal.
안녕하세요. 네. 시장하시죠? 네. 네. 이제 여기 오셔가지고 우리 백년에서 맛있는 공양 함께 드시고 그래 가주세요.
네. 감사합니다.
네.
Free food.
I was offered gongyang, which is food eaten at temples, and Baeknyeonsa offers various visitors free lunch.
That's unbelievable, huh?
All these veggies. Definitely a healthy meal.
Wow.
Everyone, including myself, really enjoyed the meal.
So in the temple, you're not allowed to eat meat, apparently. So they give you tofu, vegetables, and rice. But it's not bland at all, and it's actually quite filling. It's really good.
Whenever I come here, I usually climb the Mount Bukhan, and I sometimes stop by this temple and pray for the exam that I usually prepare for.
I wasn't even halfway up yet, but there were already people hiking back down. They must have started early in the morning because the course takes a little over an hour.
So just over there, there's a bird pecking holes in the wood looking for bugs.
A woodpecker, the symbol of opportunity.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Ooh.
He's nice and plump.
Its beak is shorter than I imagined.
Let's take a break. And so I took a quick opportunity to take a quick break.
이거 오이 드세요.
Quintessential hiking snack.
Exactly, good for water, lighter than water bottles. Yes, the terrain was a bit flat, and the azaleas here give it its name, Azalea Ridge. They're only just blooming now, and by mid-April, this place turns into a tunnel of pink flowers. Finally, smooth walking from here. Rough all the way up to this point, smooth. Right at the Azalea Ridge, you can see Baegude, Isindong, and Mangyangdae. And as you can see, like along the walkway, there's plenty of beautiful flowers. That's awesome. This is a magnificent view of the mountain from right here. And so those are the three towering peaks that I mentioned earlier. And the name used to be Samgaksan, which is related to those three peaks' names. Here's a tough spot that's detailed as the course Yongbawi, or Dragon Boulder, named for the formation which looks like a dragon taking flight. Of course, you can take the long way around, but I decided to tackle it head on.
Using a rope.
Oh, that wasn't too bad. Oh. All right, let's head up. Oh my God. So, to Daedongmun, only 500 meters, or half a kilometer.
Don't give up.
Let's go. Yes, I made it. Oh, woo. The last stretch of the course leads you to Daedongmun Gate. This gate is at the east end of Bukhansan Song Fortress. This is the point that connects you to the Seoul's neighbors of Suyudong and Uidong. Not to mention, Daedongmun is the place for most hikers to rest.
Enjoyable. It's great. Good view at the top. You get to see the city, which is, you realise how huge Seoul is.
Yeah.
So, I'd recommend it for sure.
Because this mountain is so big, there are many things to see throughout the year. You get a new experience every time.
The exhaustion melted away when I got to the top of Sidangbong Peak and got to the mountaintop view and got to see a view. With spring here, you can not Seoul. only get a nice view of the mountain, but a great view of Seoul.
Well, that's the highlight of the trip, right?
And this spring, you should add this to your to-do list for sure. It's definitely worth the trek.
Now, there are many different courses to climb up the Bukhansan mountain. You took one of the easier courses and struggled a little bit, if I may add.
Are you sure you ran that marathon? Now I'm starting to have doubts.
Well, going uphill and running flat are completely different.
Right,
I do know that there are several courses that you can choose from in the Bukhansan National Park, and one of them is the Daedongmun course, which is quite nice. It's easy for families to walk up. There's the Bibong course, popular because of the cool rocks that are shaped like animals and other things. Bukhansan Sung course, the most popular course at the Bukhansan National Park, thanks to its beautiful scenery and deep valleys. And you can find all the information on the courses and their level of difficulty on the park's national website.
And for visitors who are planning to hike Bukhansan, what would you say are the main attractions there?
Well, as you've seen in the videos, there are many, but I would have to say that the deep valleys are definitely worth checking out. And there's also so much history there, like the Bukhansan fortress wall that is more than 2,000 years old. There's also more than 100 temples and historical artifacts as well. And so that's one thing that you can visit and check out. But another thing is the ecosystems. There's so many diverse ecosystems on the mountain, it's unreal.
You forgot the woodpecker. Oh, yeah. He is one of the main attractions, I think.
Also, the totorimok, or the acorn salad that you can get on the way down.
I have not tried that yet. That is on my list of things to eat.
Sounds perfect. All right, thank you so much, Joey.
Thanks, Joey.
All right, well, that was it for this edition of Korea Today.
All right, remember, no harsh jokes on this April Fool's Day.
Go easy.
We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.